The good thing about magic is you get to pretty much live the impossible. You get to create the impossible, you get to perform and do the impossible. Well, I was born in Melbourne, in Victoria. I had a great life in Melbourne. I had mum and dad. Dad was a cop, out of all things. I was brought up pretty strict, actually. There was no mucking around. I didn't get away with much. I tried to, but there was certainly no getting away with anything with a dad like mine. He's 6'8" as well, so that doesn't help. And I'm the oldest of four. Got two brothers and one sister. When I was about 5, my grandfather showed me one of my first magic effects. It was amazing, I'll never forget it. And he'd put a coin in his hand and it'd disappear and it'd reappear inside my hat, and like, wow. It's a real amazing feeling when you see magic and you just go, wow, how do you do that? And I suppose that feeling that you get when you actually perform magic and give someone that feeling of wow, how did you do that? And sharing that magic with someone else, that's actually a great feeling too. I was a policeman in Melbourne for 10 years. I absolutely loved it. I had a great job. I suppose I've done lots of different things, but for the last 25 years, I've got to enjoy magic and just have fun with it. One of the hardest things when you're a magician is to get work. You'll find that it's hard to get a gig when you first start. People don't really know who you are, and you're trying to get out there and you're performing for your family and your friends, and it's really hard to get, I suppose, a bit of momentum. That was probably the hardest hurdle I had to learn. My first event ever was for one of my neighbours, and he said, "Can you do a gig for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I can do it for you." From that gig, I had my business cards done, all ready to go. From that gig, I got 2 other gigs, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And it just sort of catapulted from there. The show that you see behind me is a partial creation of a lot of the things that I've accumulated over many years in magic. It's really hard to separate yourself from other magicians in the market. I think your reputation is something that will always precede you. I'm different because I try and make sure that it's the wow from an entertainment perspective that they remember. I can do a trick and people go, wow, how'd you do that? Or in fact, anyone could pretty much do that. They'll make something appear, whatever. But if I was to do some amazing magic and made you laugh at the same time and just go, wow, and then on with the next thing, and I do things so quick, that's what makes it so much different to anyone else. People love that whole aspect of magic and illusions because they get to witness the impossible. They get to see some mind-blowing effects that goes, and it just pops your mind. For example, we have an illusion at the end of the show where I get lock, shackled, chained inside a big cage, and I have 60 seconds to escape before this rope burns through, bringing down all these blades, which means instant disaster. And they can see everything happening at the last minute. What happens, their jaws drop, their eyes pop out, and they remember something, or they witness something that they will remember for a long time to come. The magic and the mystery is all based around making an effect, especially some of these big dangerous escapes, close. Normally, sometimes it's milliseconds away from actually literally killing you. Some of the effects where you've got to jump clear, or you've got to escape, say for example, picking 3 sets of padlocks, a set of handcuffs, before all these fiery spikes come down and destroy anything in its way. You've got to get out of those handcuffs. If you don't, there is really no forgiveness. Every week, I'm literally cutting myself, slicing myself, injuring myself. It constantly happens. So you've got to try and keep yourself reasonably fit and in shape. I have worked with many other magicians, got to also meet some of the biggest magicians in the world, everyone from Chris Angel, David Copperfield, Dynamo, literally, yeah, pretty much the top 10 magicians. Got the chance to pretty much hang out with most of those guys. Everyone's got their own unique style. Everyone is known for one thing. I suppose I'm a little bit different because mine isn't so much about magic, it's about entertainment. It's more than just a magic show, and that's what everyone says when they come here. It's not just magic, it is comedy, it's magic, it's illusions, it's mind-blowing, it's amazing, and it really gives people a night where it just implants something into their memory where they just go, wow, I had such an awesome time, I'm gonna tell everyone about it.
You've got to put the blindfold on me.
I got the name Matt Hollywood. It was pretty much
Almost exactly 20 years ago, I was actually doing some gigs with Rove, out of all things, and someone called me, someone said, he introduced me as something to do with the Hollywood Kid, and someone said Matt Hollywood, and he said Matt Hollywood, and then it was sort of like, it was more of a joke, but then it stuck, and I just kept it from there. For the last 25 years, I've done so many conferences and gala dinners, business functions. Very fortunate, I've been in such strong demand for many years, but now having my own show based right here on the Gold Coast. My future goal is to have an amazing show which is absolutely next level. One of those like 7D experiences, so where you get so many different dimensions to do with a magic show, not just seeing magic, but the smell, what you hear, what you feel, what you sense. So there's like what those 7D cinemas have. I'd like to have that in an absolute wow factor magic show for people to come and enjoy 5-6 nights a week or whatever it ends up being, and just sort of head that way.
Did you have fun? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming.
For someone to be a magician, one very famous magician said that a magician is an actor playing the part of a magician. When you look at that deeply, it's someone that can do magic or try and make people believe that nothing may be impossible.